You're listening to Hawk Talk with former Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus. Powered by Seahawks.com. Now, here's your host, Nasser Kyobe.
Welcome into another edition of Hawk Talk. The Seahawks fresh off the bye week. Traveling across the country to take on the Washington Commanders. Goodness, couldn't get that out. The Washington Commanders in prime time on Sunday Night Football. It's going to be a big matchup, Bump. But before we get into it, got to hit you with some injury updates. A little split, kind of mixed results, mixed bag here. Mike McDonald said Julian Love had a bit of a setback last week with his hamstring injury, so his game status is uncertain, but looking like he's not going to be able to be out there. Devin Witherspoon and Derek Hall, though, were back at practice yesterday. Derek Young was also out of practice. IR was a possibility for Julian Love and Derek Young, obviously hoping that's not the case. We don't want them to miss 4 games, but the other good thing is Robbie Oots will be back, return to practice this week, so hopefully we can see him out there on Sunday.
Oots! Come on, Oots.
No, so I mean, for me, Bump, I love Oots coming back with this run game, and then Spoon, just that infectious energy, how he plays the game of football. Love to see back. You want Julian Love out there, but I feel good about where this team's at, given the amount of reps that guys like Ty Okada and other people in secondary have had so far.
Yeah, Oots, we're trying to figure out what's going to unlock this run game. Obviously, it's going to be played by the Big Five up front, chemistry with the running backs. But Oots, man, he has the block of the year so far.
Yes.
Week 2 in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh got both.
Knocked out 2 linebackers, so he brings a different dynamic to this run game. Can't wait to see him.
No, it should be fun. It's going to be a huge matchup. Jaden Daniels looks like he's going to play. Terry McLaurin is out, it'll be interesting. And it's like the Seahawks East, man.
Yeah.
You got Bobby Wagner, Nick Bellore, you got Scott Fitter in the front office, you got Tyler Ott, you got so many different guys that used to wear this uniform, work in this building. So should be fun to link up with some old friends. But let's get into those Commanders. What's on tap?
What's on tap?
They are 3-5, second place in the NFC East. They are wins over the Giants, 21-6, win over the Raiders, 41-24, and a win over the Chargers, 27-10. But they have losses to the Packers, Falcons, Bears, Cowboys, and Chiefs on a 3-game losing streak, Bump. And what did you see from them this last week against the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday night?
Yeah, the Chiefs, 28-7. They took that L, and it was a weird start to the ball games. You got 3 interceptions. You got 2 turnovers on downs on the first 5 possessions of the game. Nobody wanted the football, apparently. Then both teams exchanged touchdowns, making the score 7-7 at halftime. From then, it was all the Chiefs, though. Pat Mahomes in the game reminded people who they are. They outscored the Commanders 21-0 in the second half, en route to a 28-7 score. Pat Mahomes was 25 of 34, 299, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Travis Kelce had one of his better games of the season, 6 receptions for 99 yards, 1 touchdown, and that touchdown tied Priest Holmes for the Chiefs' career record for 83 of them things.
Yeah, no, Travis, he's up there, especially for a tight end in that offense. He's been killing the game over there. Rashee Rice, 9 receptions, 93 yards, and a touchdown. It was his first game back after the suspension. And obviously, the Commanders, when you look at them, their offense doesn't really change when Jalen is not in the game in terms of how it's called. Marcus Mariota, former Heisman Trophy winner, he was in the game, but he's also not Jaden Daniels.
Right.
So he was out there. He did okay, in mop-up duty, 21-30, 213, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. And then Scary Terry made his triumphant return, had a hell of a catch in the back corner of that end zone, dragging those feet. Unfortunately for him, he re-aggravated that quad. He did have 3 receptions for 54 yards in Washington's only touchdown, but he's out this week. Again, big up, Scary Terry. Get healthy, but I can't say I'm sad that we won't see you in uniform on Sunday night.
Yeah, Terry is the real deal, so we're going to rely on this man, Deebo Samuel. He's coming back from a bruised heel. He had just 3 receptions for 11 yards, and the OG, our guy, Bobby Wagner, had 10 tackles, 1 interception, and a pass defended. The Chiefs now have won 9 straight games against the Commanders, 11 of their last 12. Last loss was September 1983. Neither of us were around.
Yeah, that was a while ago. Damn. Chiefs now finding a rhythm. They started off 0-2, won 5 of 6. They're like cockroaches, man. You can't kill them. Yeah. They're always there doing their thing. And we'll look at this head-to-head matchup, Bump. These 2 teams on paper. Look, offensively, Seahawks are 11th total offense, 21st in rush offense, 8th in pass offense, tied for 5th in points per game. You look at the Commanders, they're 16th in offense, 334 yards per game, tied for 3rd in rush offense, 24th in pass offense and 17th in points per game. I mean, just looking at it, especially, I mean, Jaden will be back, so it should be a little closer, but I definitely would give the Seahawks the advantage in the matchup there offensively.
Yep, defensively, the Hawks are 10th overall, first against the run, 23rd against the pass, and 7th when it comes to points allowed. On the other side, the Commanders are 27th overall, 22nd against the run, 26th against the pass, and 21st when it comes to points allowed, allowing 24.8. The Hawks got 8 interceptions. The Commanders have 4 interceptions, -4 for the Hawks in turnover differential, -5 for the Commanders in that same category.
Yeah, no, so these teams do some things average, some teams well. I mean, obviously, jumping out, Seahawks #1 rush defense, love that, 75 yards. They're running the ball really well. Obviously, something has to give there in that matchup, so should be interesting when you look at these two on paper. Now, they play in different league, different divisions or whatever, so they haven't played a ton over the history, but they have played a decent amount, so we'll look at the history.
Know your history.
Commanders lead the all-time series 13-10, and they're 7-13 in the regular season, but the Seahawks do have the edge 3-0 in the postseason. The Seahawks have won 2 of the last 3 in this matchup, with the last game taking place at Lumen Field in November of 2023. Back and forth battle between the two teams. Seahawks winning that 29-26. Geno Smith had himself a hell of a day that day, going 31-47, 369, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He led 2 clutch drives in the fourth quarter, including a game-winning 7-play, 50-yard drive, setting up a Jason Myers 43-yard game-winning field goal. The Seahawks defense allowed a 35-yard touchdown pass with 52 seconds left. Geno Smith, very good at late-game situations, led them down there to win that game. Ken Walker had 129 total yards, including a 64-yard touchdown reception. Tyler Lockett had one of his better games, 8 receptions, 92 yards, and a touchdown. And Bobby Wagner led the defense with 10 tackles and 2 passes defended. Crazy thing about this game, Bump, the quarterback on the other side was Sam Howell.
Samuel.
And, Bump, this has to be his best game of his NFL career for sure. 29-44, 312, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Carved us up a lot. Ended up being in Seattle the following year in 24. Now he is, I believe, in Philly as a backup. So, yeah, definitely a crazy game. And, Bump, for me, I just love how different this team is from then to now. Because this Seahawks defense would not be giving up 312 yards, 3 touchdowns to Sam Howell. I'll tell you that.
I put some money down if they wouldn't do that. I really would. So improved defense on that day, though. Brian Robinson Jr. led all receivers with 119 yards and 6 receptions and 1 touchdown. Listen, this game feels like it's not like a must-win game, right? All games in the NFL are important, right? But this isn't a must-win game. But this is like a big one, a statement game. Sunday Night Football, traveling to the East against a team that's a little beat up. You still got Jaden Daniels rolling into town. I'm excited for this one, but I probably say that every week, though, that I'm excited.
But for me, again, obviously, we're older now, so the primetime games used to really be exciting. I wish it was earlier, the 10 or 1 o'clock would be great. But no, it's in front of the nation, and it should be interesting what the Seahawks can do, replicate their last game against them and put on a show in front of a national audience. But we'll flip our attention elsewhere. What's the word?
Where my soldiers at? West side! Where my soldiers at? West side!
And the Seahawks are the NFC West champs again.
What's the word in the West on Hawk Talk?
The standings have shuffled just a little bit in the NFC West. You got the Hawks on top now, 5-2. Rams behind them, 5-2. San Fran at 5-3, and the Cardinals are 2-5. The Seahawks are now in first place in NFC West, all by themselves. So the playoffs started today. The Seahawks will have the tiebreaker over the Rams based on win percentage in divisional games, but they haven't played yet. So look at the way you want to. It was a calm week in the division. The Seahawks, Cardinals, and Rams are on a bye. The only game this week was the 49ers taking on the Texans. What did you see in that one?
Well, I saw a team that didn't look like the team the Seahawks beat the previous Monday night.
Yeah.
I mean, the Texans, they came in. We knew they had a good defense. We got to see that on display. But what the Seahawks were able to do to them looks like a completely different team because on the short week, they were banged up. The Niners didn't have it, though. Texans in control from the jump. They led by 2 scores for majority of the game. C.J. Stroud threw over season-high 318 yards, 2 touchdowns. Stroud did all that without their top receiver, Nico Collins. He suffered a concussion against the Seahawks. And Mac Jones, he's played well in place of Brock Purdy. I think we got to see a little bit more of kind of not who he is, but just a little bit more down to earth in terms of game he had. 19 of 32, 193, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. The Niners were out of it from the jump. They were down 16-0 before they even got a first down. So to me, it made the Seahawks win on Monday night feel that much better because of what they did to a healthy Texans team versus what the Niners were able to do against them. So I feel much better about the Seahawks coming out of that.
Yeah, and Christian McCaffrey was held to 68 total yards, coming off a game where I think back-to-back weeks he had over 100 total yards from scrimmage, so that's a big ups to that defense. Kittle had 4 receptions for 43 yards and the touchdowns, and the Texans outgained the Niners 475 yards to 223. They also dominated time of possession, 41 minutes to 18 minutes. The Niners travel to the Meadowlands and take on the Giants next week, a Lions who just lost Scatterboo, man. Big up, Scatterboo.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
Yeah.
Holy big ups. Yeah, respect. That's Paul Moyer's guy, Arizona State. And you know it's bad, and any time on a football field when the opposing team is like,
yeah, get up over here.
Yeah, no, that was tough to see. But Jackson Dart's doing his thing, so it'll be interesting to see what the Niners can do there. Obviously, hoping for go Giants. This week. So we'll see what happens.
Go blue. Are they blue or is that Michigan? That's Michigan.
That's Michigan, but the Giants are still blue.
Yeah,
I mean,
so I'll say go blue.
Sure, that works. All right, let's flip it back to these Commanders. Man up.
Hey, who you got?
Who you got? You know what time it is. Man up.
Man up, brother.
Man up.
Man up on Hawk Talk.
Looking at the quarterbacks like we always do each and every week. Jaden Daniels, Marcus Mariota versus Seahawks defense. Now, when healthy, Jaden Daniels is an electric quarterback, one of the most electric in the game today. In college, he was the only player in FBS to pass for 12,000 yards and rush for 3,000 bump. He had some okay years at Arizona State, not bad. No one thought what was going to happen.
I didn't see that coming.
It was pretty brutal. The kids at Arizona State were doing him dirty on social media, blah, blah. What does he do when he transfers to LSU? Oh, I don't know, win the Heisman Trophy. Consensus All-American, set all kinds of records there. And then he gets drafted second overall by this Commanders team, and him coming in, Dan Quinn, changed the culture in that building immediately. His rookie season, one to remember, Pro Bowl, Offensive Rookie of the Year. It helps the Commanders to the NFC Championship game. They won their first game since 2005 and advanced to their first championship since the Super Bowl in 1991. So definitely a year to remember for a franchise that's been down bad for a long time. Daniels, 2024, he was 31 of 480, 3,568 yards, 25 touchdowns, just 9 interceptions. He also had 891 on the ground, 148 carries, 6 touchdowns. So he's definitely a dual threat. He was the team's leading rusher. So far, 2025 hasn't been terrible, but it has not been as kind to him. He sprained his knee in week 2 after being hit in the head with a helmet, or hit in the knee with a helmet. That caused him to miss 2 games. Then he was injured against the Cowboys. It looked really bad. Thankfully for him, it was just a hamstring, but made him miss another game against the Chiefs. So he's missed 3 games this year. The Commanders are 1 or 2 in those games. He's practicing this week. Looks like he's going to play bump, and he really changes the game for them if he's in there.
He does change the game, man. He loves to scramble. His off-time throws are on point. He is missing a target in Terry McLaurin, but he has the football in his hands every snap. And when a guy like that has the football in his hands every snap, he can be dangerous. They also got another Heisman Trophy winner over there. That's what they do in D.C. apparently. Marcus Mariota. 11 years he's been in the league already.
It's wild, yeah.
That is nuts, man. He started 77 of 97 games he's played in. Bounced back after leaving Tennessee. Only played in 4 games of the season, starting 3 of them. Marcus Mariota, 56 of 88, 63% completion rate, 639 yards, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and 18 carries for 122 and a touchdown. Now, I watched him a little bit on film, man. Marcus still got some wheels, man. He can still move a little bit. He ain't Jaden Daniels, but he can still move a little bit.
No, and Coach McDonald spoke about it this week when preparing for this team. Their offense doesn't change when Daniels is out there just because of their similar play style, the way they can make things happen with their legs. So it'll be interesting. Like I said, Mariota, if he's in the game, he can definitely compete, and it's not something to sleep on. So the Seahawks defense will have their work cut out there, ranking 10th overall in defense, 23rd against the pass. They're still trying to figure it out after that Bucs game that really threw the average off for the entire season. But they are 4th in the NFL with 8 interceptions and 7th in scoring defense on just 19.4 points. So we'll see what they do trying to contain Daniels out there.
All right, let's talk about our quarterback, Sam Darnold. All right, he had a week off, but he's still one of the best in the game when you look at these numbers. All right, he was 17 of 31, 213 and 1 touchdown and 1 interception against Houston last time we saw them. Wish he could have had a couple throws back, but that's the name of the game. He'll be all right. But even after that break, okay, he's still among the league's best. He's 10th when it comes to passing yards, 1st when it comes to yards per pass attempt, 1st when it comes to yards per completion, 7th when it comes to pass rating, and 10th in NFL when it comes to completion percentage at 68.2%. He has 1,700 yards, 12 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He's playing against a team that is 27th overall in the Commanders this week in total defense, allowing 372 per game. They're 26th against the pass. They're 21st against when it comes to scoring. There's some opportunity here. And this is the old team, man. It's the oldest team in football right now. Now, it's kind of skewed because you got a punter that's like 35. You got Bobby, who's in his 30s. Nick Ballore. Vaughn over there, too. I mean, they got some old heads. They got some young ones, too. But them old heads kind of throw the numbers off a bit.
Yeah, and honestly, I think this is where the Seahawks win this football game. We know how good they've been defensively, but I think this is where the distance in the scoreboard is going to be with the Seahawks offense, how they're playing against a unit that's not playing a really good football defensively for the Commanders. So it'll be interesting to watch that part of the game. Then talking receivers, when you're talking Washington, you're talking about Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel, Zach Ertz. They have a ton of guys that are great at catching the football. But of course, Scary Terry, someone we could talk about for days. He's one of the best receivers in Washington history already at this point. He's top 5 in 1,000-yard seasons. He's 5 consecutive. That's actually a club record. He's 5th all-time in receiving yards, 2-time Pro Bowler, had a career-high 13 touchdowns last season, but he will not be out there on the field this week. So we flip our attention to Deebo Samuel. We all know about Deebo. He's caused the Seahawks a headache for years and years at San Francisco, and he's a true dual threat guy. Since 2021, Deebo is top 10 in the NFL in the following categories: wide receiver scrimmage touchdowns, wide receiver touches, wide receiver scrimmage yards per game, wide receiver scrimmage yards, yards after catch, 25-yard plus receptions. Now, well, we talked about Deebo a lot. He is a receiver when you list him on your flip card, but he's an athlete. Like, if you were recruiting Deebo, he'd be an ATH. He would not have a position just because how he's used. Now, he's playing receiver. He's still dangerous. When he gets the ball in his hands, he's like a running back. So it'll be interesting to see. He did most of his damage, obviously, in San Francisco this year. Okay, 37 receptions, 326, 3 touchdowns. Also got 46 yards on 9 carries and a touchdown. Quiet last week. We'll see what happens with him this week.
He's got to step up this week. I mean, he's the number one for sure. Terry's gone. He's the number one. So I want to see how they use him and where they move him around. We'll see him everywhere. Outside, inside, in the slot, backfield. They'll use him. But then you got the OG, Zach Ertz. Man, he's 13 years he's been in the game. 3-time Pro Bowler. He's been climbing the ranks of NFL history. He's 6th most receptions at the tight end spot. He has the most receptions in a single season for a tight end. He has seasons with 70-plus receptions. He got 6 of those. Seasons with 700-plus receiving yards. He's got 7 of those. He's a productive player. Last season, he was the team's 2nd leading receiver behind McLaurin, of course. He has 66 receptions for 654 and 7 touchdowns. So far this year, he's the 2nd leading receiver with this team. 27 receptions, 245 and 4 touchdowns. And they also got the young man, Luke McCaffrey. All they do is produce athletes with that last name. And big ups to the moms. Dad gets a lot of the love when it comes to the athleticism. Mom's was a heck of a soccer player, I believe, at Stanford, and was doing her thing. So the McCaffrey brothers. Luke McCaffrey this time, he has 11 receptions for 203 yards and 3 touchdowns. We know the Hawks not struggling against the pass, but the numbers will tell you that there's some improvement needed there. They're 23rd, allowing 230 per game. And J-Love's going to be out. But Spoon's going to be there. Let's see how the backups do this week.
No, absolutely. And having Spoon on the field is just an absolute game changer with his effects and energy. Obviously, that hasn't officially been reported yet. He's back to practice. We're really hoping he can get out there. And if he is,
putting good vibes out there.
Big things will be happening. Then let's look at the running back position, because we mentioned they're 3rd in the league in rushing yards. And then I'm going through their stats, and I go, that doesn't really compute when you're kind of looking through all the names. Well, why is that? Their quarterback position is such a huge part of that run game. They've accounted for 30% of the total rushing yards. They have 4 different running backs and 3 wide receivers that have carries this year. And obviously you have some injuries. So it started Austin Eckler as their starting running back to start the season. He blows out his Achilles in week 2. Chris Rodriguez starts the next couple of games. And then you enter Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, 7th-round pick, probably not thought of a lot this year, but he's their leading rusher, done some good things. Breakout performance against the Chargers. He had 111 yards on 14 carries, 2 touchdowns on the season, 402 yards, 82 carries, 4.9 per carry, and 4 touchdowns. So this is a unit, between Daniels, if he's back, plus them. That's the run game. You have to include the quarterback in that when stopping the run game. So Merritt's look good, but it's going to be about containing Daniels and Merritt together for the Seahawks, who are the number 1 rushing defense in the National Football League.
Yes, they are, allowing just 75 yards per game, that Seahawks defense against the run. And, of course, how can we not talk about these two, Jackson Smith and Jigba and Cooper Kupp? JSN, he shows week after week he's one of the best in the game. Against the Houston Texans a couple weeks ago, ago. 8 receptions, 123, and 1 touchdown. All right, he has 819 yards, and he's just 170 yards away from 1,000, which is nuts. He needs 100 yards to become the first player in franchise history to record 4 consecutive 100-yard receiving games. This is his second opportunity this year to do that. So Jason is doing his thing. He needs 100 yards to tie Steve Largent for the most 100-yard receiving games in a single season in franchise history with 6. He needs 4 receptions to pass DK Metcalf for the most receptions in a player's first 3 seasons in franchise history with 217. And you don't want to miss this. Get ready to go. Jason's going to put on a show and back up everything he's been doing this year.
I mean, we've run out of words to describe what he's doing. Everyone knows the threat he is. He's the number 1 receiver in the league, but he still gets behind secondaries each and every play.
Yep.
Cooper Kupp, he's doing his thing. You know, he's not killing it in the stack in the same way. He's got 24 receptions and 293 yards on the season. But if there's anyone that could talk about what he's been doing this year, it's Cooper Kupp, because he went through this type of season.
Yep.
I'm hoping it ends the same way. Triple
nice.
Crown in a Super Bowl. What happened to Cooper Kupp in 2021?
Super Bowl MVP, too.
Now just wearing the right uniform. I would love
He's wearing the right one.
I would love for Jason to kind of, do the same thing there as well. But, yeah, that's going to be a matchup. I expect nothing less. At this point, if Jason has less than 100 yards, you're thinking, man, what happened? Which is crazy precedent.
It is crazy.
He has set. Well, we've come to that time where we're going to tell you how the Seahawks are going to get this thing done in prime time on Sunday Night Football. Path to victory.
At the 45, waits for the snap. Michael Dixon puts it down. That kick is away. And that kick is good! The Seahawks win! It's good!
It's a path to victory on Hawk Talk.
Seahawks, another great opportunity in primetime to show the nation what they're trying to build here. And it always starts with the defense, especially the way this defense is playing. They're the best at stopping the run against a team that is third ranked running the football. And this is where you got to go off and get it done. Crossy can't go off in this game. Same with Daniels if he's out there containing him. So it starts up front with those big boys.
Yeah, like you said, starts up front with the big boys, and then on the back end, keep everything in front of you at the same time, right? Julian Love and Spoon, we'll see what we know. Jay Love ain't gonna be there. We're manifesting that Spoon is gonna be out there, and if he is out there, what can we get out of him? The energy you talked about, the tenacity. I just can't wait to see him if he is out there. Offensively, the Hawks need to fix third downs. Man, they're bad on third downs this year. The last 2 games, the Hawks have been 3 for 26. On third down. I don't know the percentages, Nas, but that's probably not good.
Not going to do podcast math here, but not good. You're right. Not good.
All right, and find a way to get the run game going, something we've been waiting for a while, even though the numbers have been okay in several games. They've been close at times, but they're not consistent. We talk about Oots being back, more reps with the offensive line. Maybe that might be the key ingredient to getting that run game going.
No question about it. And they have the horses to do it, so I'm just really excited about this. Keep finding ways to get Jason the ball. And this is another statement game. You come out of this going set, you're going to be 6-2 again with another division game at home. Things could really get going for the Seahawks team in a good way. So we'll see what happens there. Reminder, you can catch us anywhere: YouTube, Seahawks.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Sirius XM. He's Michael Bumpus. I'm Nasser. Hopefully we'll be talking to you on Monday about a Seahawks victory in primetime.